Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the main man? We can do better now. Are you ready for the main man? Go wild and crazy for Darran Griffiths! Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. The energy in the room is lovely, and I appreciate that, because let's face it, energy is expensive, isn't it? It's fucking expensive nowadays, isn't it? Energy's expensive, man. No, listen, I have got an email in my inbox from British Gas that says your next bill is ready. I ain't opening that for shit. Nah, this is the poorest I've ever felt in my life. What annoys me is that all of like last year, the politicians keep on calling it an energy cap, a price cap, but it keeps on going up. How is that a cap, right? And that makes me question my sense of reality. Do you know what the word for that in psychology is? Gas lighting. Two things I can't fucking afford. Very triggering. And two other things I can't afford. My kids as well. They're expensive. No, kids are expensive. Like I knew they're expensive, but like everyone tells you before you have them. But I didn't know, man. Like I feel like they should come with like an 18-year warranty. Like you can just give them back when they get too expensive. No, because the way it is for kids is that I think it's because they don't chip in, right? They don't chip in. Now, granted, they're 2 and 1, but they need to do more, man. They need to do more. But I love my kids. I love them a lot, man. I feel very blessed to have them, and you'll hear that in the show. But yeah, they're expensive. But I like to think of myself as a modern dad. But I don't say the dumb shit that modern dads say. Yeah, dumb shit like, we got pregnant. We had a baby. It's that I've witnessed 2 births now. We didn't do shit. All right? That was all her. That was all her, man. We was in the same room, but it was in different places, man. Completely different places. But no, so I like to think of myself as a hands-on dad. I'm a hands-on dad. I like to read for my kids. Problem is that I found out that I can't read out loud, right? Now, you don't think you can read out loud, but you do most of your reading in your head. Try reading out loud to a 2-year-old who can't read and have her look back at you like, but can you read, bro? Like, it will kill your self-esteem. So no more books in the house. We're not reading anymore. We just watch TV. Well, the problem with TV for me is I'm not sure if it's my age or me or my generation. I don't look for racism, but I find it everywhere. I find it everywhere. There's a show called In the Night Garden on CBeebies. Everyone knows this show? Lovely show. Except to me, every character sounds a bit racist. They've got a character called Macca Packa. Why? That is way too close. Like, kids are mispronouncing shit all the time. This is a recipe for racism. Like, why are they doing this? But that's not the worst name. They've got a character called Eninkinock. What kind of 1960s racism is that? Kind of thing that'd be put on a brick thrown through someone's window. Go back to where you come from, you ninky nonks. Is that why? Why have they done that? They've got a character called a Tomley Boo. Now, I don't know what race that's meant to be offensive to, but don't call me one, did it? Like, I don't like it. So now I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV either. My daughter, she came back from nursery and she's singing Bar Bar Black Sheep. And I'm like, no! Racist, right? And then I did a little bit of research and then I realised that it's nothing to do with race, it's actually about the wool tax, right? So I was like, oh, maybe In the Night Garden made me a bit too sensitive. Okay. And then she started singing the Grand Old Duke of York. And I was like, okay, no, we draw the line there. Because if we can't sing R. Kelly songs in this house, we're not singing Prince Andrew songs either, okay? Not in this house. Nope. But life is good. Life is good for me, man. Life is good. I mean, I'm enjoying life. I've got to say, I've got 2 kids. I'm married, and that's fantastic as well. And I think we're doing well in life. I think we're like officially middle class now. Like we live in Hertfordshire now. Live in Hertfordshire, and I think we're officially middle class. How I know we're middle class is how I swear. I swear in a middle class way now, you see, because it's all to do with the sound you make before you swear. See, when you're working class, it's a very short sound. It's like, ah, shit, ah, bollocks. But as you climb the social ladder, that sound gets a bit longer, right? So now when I swear, it's more of a, bollocks. Yeah? I only dropped a bit of brie on the floor. I was fuming, man. But how I know I'm officially middle class is that I have a dispute with a neighbour about a fence. Come on! That's official middle class shit, that is. But no, but I'm a working class boy, working class origins. I'm from a place called Harlow, Essex. Harlow in the house. Woo! Come on, let's have it, you slags. Right, so Essex is in the house, man. No, I love it. I love being from there. It's a very, very white town. Last census when I was growing up, 95% white. The other 5% was just white people didn't understand the question. That's the kind of town it was growing up. But I liked it. Like growing up around that many white people. Yeah, I liked it. I like look, banter. I like the banter, mate. Yeah, it's just love it. It's like a little bit of banter. It's banter. Chill out, don't just banter. A little bit of banter. Chill out, mate. It's a bit of banter. It's a bit of banter. There's black people. We don't have banter. No. We got jokes. And don't take jokes too far with black people, okay? Will Smith showed us at the Oscars. Don't take jokes too far with black people. But I like the white guy banter. I like the energy. I like going out on a Saturday night. Group of lads walking past a river and suddenly splash! Gary's in the river! Whee! He's drowning, but he's loving it. It's like, oh, boys, I'm loving a banter, but you know I can't swim. It's like, look at him, he's proper drowning. What a mug. Boy, Neil, chuck in his wheelchair. It's like, Jesus Christ. The banter's gone too far, lads. And then the level above white guy banter is rugby boy banter. Now, to black and brown people, that looks exactly the same, but I know the difference. You see, with rugby boy banter, someone's dick is always out. I don't understand. It's just like, it's the punchline to all their jokes. It's like, Charlie left his pint unattended, I just got my knob out and put it in there. Banter. It's like, put your cock away, Harry. We're at a funeral. Like, what is dick out? And rugby boys play disgusting games as well, like soggy biscuit. Now, make some noise if you've heard of soggy biscuit. Filth. Make some noise if you haven't. See how much happier they sound. I'm about to ruin your life. Soggy biscuit is a game where a group of absolute lads get a biscuit and they masturbate. And the last person to ejaculate onto the biscuit has to eat the biscuit.
Oh, mate.
Banter. I said that once, and someone said, excuse me, what kind of biscuit is it? You what? How is that the information you need from that story? My mum's heard me say that before. She goes, Darran, that joke, that story, that game, the biscuit, that's not a real thing, is it? Like you made that up. I was like, Mum, if I made that up, you failed as a mum. Like, I don't know what sociopath was left with a packet of unmolested biscuits to thought, I know how to make this more interesting. Disgusting, man. But I'm from, like I said, my friends got like a very diverse group of friends with like, interests and race and backgrounds, right? And I think that's dictated my dating habits, right? So make some noise if you've dated interracially before. Make some noise if you haven't. I can't. I know what's happened there. I know exactly what's happened. I'm going to break it down for you guys. Okay. So when I said make some noise if you dated interracially, it was the white people who made noise. Because white people are very proud to say they've dated interracially. Like, yes, I'm not racist. I'll date anyone. I'm literally Hora the Explorer. I'll do it. Don't care. Right? Whereas the black people, they can literally be here with their white partner. They're just like, yeah, man, yeah, whatever, that's sharp. Yeah, it's nothing, man, it's nothing. And then when I said who hasn't, again, that was the black and brown people making noise like, yeah, making grandma proud. And then the white people were like, listen, I'm not racist, okay? Like, just let me explain. Like, I would, it's just opportunity, Darran. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it. Listen, it's 2024, it's not racist. I know you white people, you're scared you're gonna get cancelled for saying that you haven't dated interracially. Listen, I know white people. I know that half of you wouldn't even kiss a ginger person. All right, so you're not gonna date another race. That's way too spicy. It's way too spicy. Now, have I dated interracially? Of course I have. I'm a black guy from Essex. If I hadn't dated interracially, I'd be a virgin, okay? However, there are some types of white women I didn't like dating, and I'm going to list them. So, the first type of white woman I didn't like dating was a white woman who's too woke. When I say too woke, I'm not talking about the online culture war meaning of woke. I'm talking about old school meaning of woke, where she knew so much about black culture, she'd make me feel like a shit black guy. I'm turning up to the date, like, what's wrong, babe? She's like, I'm just really pissed off about what's going on in Darfur. I'm like, Darfur? What the hell's going on in Darfur? I had to Google Darfur. Do I need to see Darfur 3 to understand Darfur? I didn't know what I was Googling. Second type of white woman didn't like dating, right? I was a black guy from Essex. I'd end up dating white women from London, and they would try to out-black me in very weird ways. I would go out to eat, and they'd be like, oh my days. You didn't order the curry goat I'm planting. I'm blacker than you. Chill out, Charlotte. We're in McDonald's. Shut up and eat your nuggets, isn't it? Third type of white woman didn't like dating was the white woman who didn't know enough about black culture or black history, so she'd end up asking very awkward, mood-killing questions. She's like, Darren, if your family are Jamaican, but your ancestors are African, how did they get from Africa to Jamaica? Like, what am I meant to say about killing the mood? Free boat trip. Like, what am I meant to say? Jesus. And my surname is Griffiths, which is a Welsh surname, but I am not Welsh. But that doesn't stop very excited Welsh people come up to me going, hey, I'm a Griffiths, you're a Griffiths, we might be related. I'm like, not consensually, mate. It's not I lived in Birmingham for 3 years, so I've dated Asian girls, one in Rome. And here's the thing about dating Asian women. When you're not Asian, you'll know that they take an insane amount of pleasure in telling you how much their family would object to the relationship. They're like, if my family found out about this, they'd literally kill you. He's like, I've watched the news. They'd kill you. This is risk-free vagina for me. This is life or death dick for you. It's all good. But dating black women wasn't any easy for me though. Like I said, I'm a black guy from Essex, so what that translates to a lot of black people to me is that I don't like black women, okay? And it used to piss me off. I'd be chatting up black girls and they'd be cutting the conversation. They'd go, why you talk to me? You don't like black girls? I was like, I'm talking to you right now, right? And then one of her friends would just pipe up in the back going, it's true, you know, you don't even like us. I was like, why are you here, Charlotte? Like, no one asked you. I mean, this has nothing to do with you. And it's followed me my whole life. I remember my uncle, I meant to tell my uncle, hey, I'm going to marry a black woman. He goes, you ain't going to marry no black woman. You're going to marry a white woman. I was like, he was so sure about it. I was like, how are you so sure? Like, I'm 5 years old, I'm saying this. He's just like, I don't know how I was playing with the Lego. He was just sure. He's so sure. He goes, listen, if you marry a black woman, I will eat my trousers. I didn't know what that meant. I was 5, but I was like, I'm interested. Okay, I was locked in. But it's a weird one. Like, listen, it's 2024. Dating interracially is literally, it's not a thing. Like, do we need to do, listen, love is rare, life is short. And if you find someone to be in love with, hold on to that, it's precious, man, do that. Right? And whoever I've been in a relationship with, whether they've been black, white, mixed, Asian or other, I've always wanted that relationship to last. However, whenever I've been single, I don't know why, I've always just mentally envisioned that my wife would be black. And I'm not sure, maybe it's something a bit Freudian in that. I think I always wanted to be the husband I thought my mum deserved when I was growing up. I know, proper nice, isn't it? Like, proper nice, so sweet, I'm so sweet. I mean, it helps that I actually find black women attractive. This ain't like some fucking civil rights movement, just like, just like that. Nah, man. And yeah, and I think that's what it is, because look, my parents, they were together, but they weren't married, right? And so I was like, and they had kids from previous relationships. I was always envious of my own siblings who were like full siblings. I was envious of my friends who grew up in nucleated households, like same mum, same dad, siblings, all the same surname. Really basic shit, right? And I remember I'd go to school and be like, Darren, it ain't all great, you know? My dad's a wanker, my mum's a wanker. They both hit me. I'm like, oh, they both hit you. That means they're on the same page, mate. That's a solid marriage, that is. You see, they love each other. They just hate you. That's it. And I always craved tradition as well. I wanted to meet the right woman, get to know them, like get married first, then have children, right? Because like, I love my dad. He was a great dad to me, right? I'm not sure if he was a great partner. I know he wasn't a great partner. And I know he wasn't a great dad to all of his children. Like if my dad had a Wikipedia page, it would say number of children, 5, then in brackets, officially. He was that kind of guy, right? And for me, I didn't want that to be my reality. I didn't want kids all over the place. And you know, that it came to a head a few years ago, right? I was on Facebook, and this beautiful black girl was coming to my DMs. And listen, I've just looked at the picture, thought, let me click through the pictures. Now I've gone deep into pictures, guys. I'm deep in. Like, I even knew she was Jamaican. How I knew? Because I was in Jamaica 2014 photo album. I was too deep in. I thought, shit, she's messaged me. Let me read the message. And the message essentially said this. I am looking for my estranged father. His name is Tim Griffiths. Now, as some of you already guessed, and some of you know, that's my dad's name. So I'm like, shit. She might be my sister. And then I looked at the pictures again, I was like, but she's nice. So I just said, look, I don't know him, babes, I'm Welsh. And that's how I met my wife. No, that is a different show. That's a completely different show. No, my wife, her name is Naomi. I'm not gonna call her my wife for the whole show. Her name's Naomi. And I actually met Naomi on Tinder, yeah. I know some of the guys are like, bro, you've done it all wrong. You don't marry the ones from Tinder. No, listen, I'd completed Tinder. It was great. And listen. And I remember our first message. And she goes, did we just message at the same time? And I said, I think we did. And I said, let's just skip the small talk and just get married. Now, considering we got married a few years later, I think by modern standards, that's quite romantic. That's one of the first messages we ever had with each other. Let's ignore the fact I said that to every girl I matched on Tinder. It's gonna be right at some point. But you gotta keep shooting, lads. You gotta keep shooting. Now. But no, I love her, man. I'm a faithful guy. Is that because I'm a good guy? No. It's because my wife is from a place called Harlesden, northwest London. And if you don't know Harlesden's a little bit hood. Ghetto, if you will. Now, Naomi isn't hood, but she has hood tendencies. Like sometimes she come back from work, like, these people talk to me like I'm some kind of dickhead, you know? So what's your gun hand? You're a primary school teacher. Like, come on, just put the gun down. Put it down, babes. But look, I felt very lucky to meet Naomi when I met her, because I was dating with intention and we wanted the same things in life. We craved the same things. We craved that tradition, that stability. And because of that, our relationship moved pretty quickly. So we met in 2017. In 2018, we had moved in with each other. By the end of 2018, we were engaged. 3 months into engagement, out of the blue, Naomi asked me this question. She goes, Darran, have you ever been tested? And I thought she meant STDs, and I was like, that ship has sailed, love. Like, every disease I've got, you've got now, right? I was like, that's way too late to ask her this. And she's like, no, idiot, I mean fertility. And I was like, why did I get tested? Why don't you get tested? Very defensive, right? And apparently she had been tested. She kind of had, like, I don't know, like some kind of like routine check, I guess, like some kind of FemOT of some sort, right? And she was totally fine. She was trying to broach the subject to me subtly. She goes like, have you ever got like an ex pregnant? I was like, no, because my pull-out game is strong. I'm not proud of that. That's what I said. I mean, it's not medically accurate. But she goes, go get tested. I went to get tested. And guys, I didn't get tested because I was scared or thought there was anything wrong. I went there just to shut her up. Just to prove her wrong. I thought I was going to walk in there and they would go, Mr. Griffiths, this is the best semen we've ever seen. I was very confident. I went in and look, I was confident, man. I put my trousers down. I started giving my sample. They're like, Mr. Griffiths, this is an initial consultation. I was like, oh shit, sorry, my bad. So I put my dick away. And so the first check they do is just a physical examination, just from the eye test, right? So he looked at my penis, and doctor went, normal. I was like, really? Just like, I didn't know he was judging it yet. Let me get ready first. Like then you judge it. I didn't know. I weren't ready. It was cold. He said normal. And then he checked my testicles. And he went, normal again. I go, Doc, I've got to be honest with you. I've always been a little bit insecure about my testicles. Always thought they're a bit on the small side. He goes, oh, now you mention it. I was like, Jesus, this is a terrible day. But I was physically normal. So the next test you have to do is semen analysis. Now, I'm not going to ask you guys. I might do. Make some noise if you ever had a wank by appointment before. A scheduled wank, eh? An NHS-funded wank. Because I feel like a wank should be a dirty, dark, secretive, shameful act, yeah? You should be cowered in a dark room, your laptop open, 56 tabs, yeah? And then you finish and the video's still playing back at you. It's like, ugh, is this what turns me on? That's how it should be, but not this time, nah. It's on NHS letterhead. Mr. Griffiths, next Tuesday, 9 a.m, wank. Abstain for 3 to 5 days. 3 days, I'm not a monk, okay? And I go to this hospital that I've been to so many times, so apparently I had a notice that they had this NHS wanktorium in the basement, right? And I've gone in, they've got widescreen TVs, DVD players, they've even got magazines. Magazines. It's like some kind of masturbatory museum, right? And here's the thing about the magazines, that I recognise some of these women from the internet, which means that these are up-to-date magazines, which means that it's someone's job in the NHS to replenish the porn. So all through lockdown, we was clapping the NHS, yeah. We was clapping that guy as well. It's crazy. So there, like, I'm flicking through the magazine, then I remember where I am, I'm like, yuck. And then I wash my hands, like, before a wank, that was novel. And then like, the pot, here's the thing, the pot they give you, like, it's not very big. It's a very hard target to aim at, like, it's smaller than a biscuit. And like I said, I'm confident, I give my sample, I'm not even sure if the lid's on, I throw it at them, go, hey, go on, live my life, right? 2 to 3 weeks later, the results come back in. Pull-out game strong? No. Sperm game weak. I'm like, damn. But there's a line that says, still can conceive naturally. So I'm like, hey, happy days. Naomi, on the other hand, is just reading, you know, all the medical stuff. And she's like, Darran, you're infertile. So I'm not. It says I conceive naturally. You can't read. Very arrogant for a man with such shit sperm, okay? But the reason I was confident is because it's best of 3, and I didn't really revise for that first test. You know? I only abstained for 3 days. I'm like, look, I abstained for 5 days on the second one, I'll knock it out the park. So go for the second test, 2 to 3 weeks later. Results come back in. Pull-out game strong? No. Sperm game? Weaker. I was like, how have I fucked this up? I revised longer, 5 days I took. But it was worse. But the line is still there. Still can conceive naturally. So I'm glass half full kind of guy. No one on the other hand's like, Darran, it's worse. You're infertile. Like, take this seriously. I was like, best of 3. We'll do the 3rd time. But here's the thing about the 3rd test, right? That the results were due in 2 days before our wedding day. Yes, so this suddenly became the most high-pressure wank of my life. And I wasn't as confident as the 1st and 2nd time. I've gone in, I'm now in my head. I'm now thinking about shit that I shouldn't be thinking about. Like, for example, how this sample and the previous 2 samples, that I had been doing it with my shoes on. You should never wank with your shoes on. That's a clear sign that you're somewhere where you shouldn't be wanking. I mean, there's never be a situation where you're comfortable enough to pull your dick out, but not take off your shoes first. Some of the guys look at you like, but what about my wanks at work? Bruv, that's illegal. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. You might be getting away with it, but that is a HR issue, okay? So I've gone to the 3rd test, and I say I've got that in my head. And now one thing I hadn't noticed from the previous times as well is when you're handing in your sample, the indignation of it, right? Because like they make you fill out a questionnaire about it, like what am I meant to write about this? Like, how was my experience? Yeah. And then here's the other thing: so you put it in a clear cup, then that's in a clear bag, and then you don't just hand it in discreetly. You're in the lobby with all the other guys waiting to give their sample. So it's just a room full of shame and shit sperm, and everyone's trying to avoid eye contact. Because you're avoiding eye contact, I'm now looking at other people's samples, and I'm just like, hold on, that can't be all him. He isn't glass half full. He's like, do you know what? Do you know when you're in an exam, right, and you're struggling on a question, like you're 15 minutes in and someone puts their hands up like, more paper, please. That is this guy. He had like 2 cups full. I was like, this is ridiculous. So I'm developing new insecurities in this room, right? So I go home, 2 to 3 weeks later, 2 days for the wedding. Results come back in. Pull-out game strong? No. Sperm game, just as weak as the second time. However, that line that says still can conceive naturally, they've removed that line. So I'm like, oh shit. And Naomi's like, Darran, you're infertile. I'm like, yeah, you might be right this time. Okay, I might have to cave in on this one. And because of that now, we end up having a really frank conversation 2 days before our wedding. Like this conversation generally happened, right? And we was I'm and ahhing about whether he's actually going to get married. Because I think what happens is a lot of people, they get with each other and they assume, we'll get married, we'll wait a year, we'll have some kids. We now know this isn't going to be our reality. And Naomi basically gave me an ultimatum. She goes, Darran, what you understand about me is that some of my friends, they care about their career. Some of my friends want to see the world. But I feel like that is my destiny to be a mother. And I can't get married to you unless I know that you will do whatever it takes to make that a reality. And I was like, okay, like whatever it takes, what does that mean? She goes, well, you got to change your diet, stop drinking alcohol, exercise more, do more testing, and then, you know, we'll go through IVF, and if we need an egg donor, we'll get an egg donor. If we need a sperm donor, get a sperm donor. It's like we're not getting a sperm donor, right? now, admittedly, part of that was ego. Initially, it was ego. It was ego. I was like, no. But with a lot of men, our ego is attached to our emotions. And I didn't realise that. When she said that, get a sperm donor, I felt this pain in my chest. I was like, no. I realised in that moment how important it was for me as a personal decision to be genetically linked to my child. So much so that even if I wasn't, I then wouldn't want Naomi to be genetically linked. I'd rather adopt than us have only just one of us be linked, which is, I know, it's insane, but you don't know why you want children until you face a struggle to have children, right? And listen, and that's not besmirching sperm donation. If you're a product of that or you need to use that, like, salute to you, like, do whatever you do to have children, man. And listen, in that conversation, like, we found that Naomi couldn't do she wouldn't do surrogacy. She said, like, it was important for her to actually be pregnant and carry the child. So we worked that out. Another reason why I didn't want to do sperm donation is because of my condition didn't warrant that, right? So I said, you know, sperm game weak. I'll give you the actual technical thing for me. It was poor morphology and poor motility, which basically means, like, my count is totally fine, but a lot of the sperm is the wrong shape, swimming in the wrong direction. Basically, I've got a lot of fat and stupid sperm, okay? But the count's fine. So let me give you a metaphor so you fully grasp it. Everyone knows the marathon, right? The marathon, you've got, like, your elite runners. Your elite runners, that before the race even starts, you know who's going to win the race. Come on, we've all got the same people in our head, haven't we? Come on, 1, 2, 3, Kenyans. Yes, Kenyans. You know the Kenyans going to win the race. And then you got the other dickheads. Yeah? Got 2 guys dressed as a horse. A guy with a dinosaur head with basketballs. A guy dressed as a washing machine. So I've got way too few Kenyans, way too many washing machines. Right? So what the doctors have to do, you have to get the good ones. So what he's going to have to do, he's going to have to round up all the Kenyans, yeah? Not like Churchill did. And... little history joke for you. Got to round up all the good ones, right? Because the problem is the good ones are mixed in with all the shit ones, right? They're mixed in with bad ones. Essentially, what I'm trying to tell you is that my balls are like a TK Maxx. There's good stuff in there. But there's a lot of shit. And you're just going to have to search through it, right? So that's what the doctor had to do. The doctor had to get the good ones, and essentially what my process was, to have to inject the good one directly into the egg. So that process is called ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. See, with normal IVF, you just introduce egg and sperm and they do their things, whereas my sperm are just too stupid. There's like, no, we have to put you in the egg, brother, to make this work. So because we knew that's what we'd have to do, we was like, fine. We've got a plan of action, let's get married. And 2 days later, we got married, and doing what? It was a beautiful day. It was sort of like just love and just like dancing, and everyone enjoyed the food, except for my uncle. He had to eat his trousers. Come on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, but then we're now in a new phase of our relationship now where I now have to do this further testing. And the further testing, I've changed my diet, I've quit alcohol, I'm exercising more. And the next test I do is hormone testing. My hormones are totally fine, so that was good. The next test they did was a physical examination, but I want to go internal. So they had to do a sonogram on my testicles. Now, at this point, guys, I have to be honest with you, to this day, that is still one of the best feelings I've ever had. No, seriously, guys, I don't want anything to be wrong with your balls, but if you can wrangle with the NHS for them to do a sonogram on your scrotum, oh, seriously, it's so good. Like, you'll forget why you're there. Like, you'll forget. The reason why I was there, they suspected I had what they called a varicocele. Now, a varicocele is like a varicose vein, but in the scrotum. And what the science is this, is that due to the excess blood, it overheats the testicles, therefore malform the sperm. And to fix that, what they suggest is that you embolize the vein, therefore reducing the blood flow, therefore reducing the temperature of the scrotum, therefore creating normal sperm. So the doctor explained that to me. He goes, "Do you understand that, Mr. Griffiths?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't really know what embolize means." He goes, "Okay, well, what that is that we put a metal stent in the vein." And I was like, cool. Okay, right. How do you do that? Because we enter through the leg vein. I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's like, what, like here?" He goes, "Oh, no, Mr. Griffiths, your leg vein is in your neck." I was like, "Are you a fucking doctor? What are you talking about? It's in my neck. I'm going to end up on a documentary, like, what is happening?" But I Googled in front of him, "Yeah, it's in your neck, it's in your neck." I was like, that is crazy, right? So I'm now thinking, shit. And I said to the doctor, "Listen, doc, I've never been under general anaesthetic before. I'm a bit nervous about that." And he goes, "Oh, no, Mr. Griffiths, there's no general anaesthetic. This isn't an operation. It's a procedure." I was like, "What's the difference?" He goes, "Oh, we just numbed the site of entry." I was like, I'm taken right back to the conversation I had with Naomi, where she says, "You need to do whatever it takes." And I'm like, I think I lied. I don't want to do this. And it is. But, do you know what? I'm a man of my words, and I went through with it. And I remember laying on the bed. They've numbed the site of entry, and I could feel this camera travelling into my neck, across my body, reach my scrotum, and then I hear the doctor go, "Oh, what? What does that mean? What do you mean, oh?" And rather than address anything, he just runs out of the room. I can't even chase him. I've got this camera in my neck. It's like, "Come back, please. Come back, please." And the walls are thin. I can hear him in the next door. He's going, "Yeah, Mr. Griffiths, NHS number." "I know, it's strange." I'm like, What's strange? Please come back." And he comes back, and he literally does the most English thing he could do in this moment, right? He stands next to me and goes, "Funny thing." Really? That was just rocked his funny thing. "It appears that you don't have a varicocele." It's like, you need to have found that out before you enter my nutsack, mate. This is way too late. But I'm over the moon that I don't need to have an operation on my balls, right? Guys, you passed it. You can unclench now. You're through. Yeah, I'm really happy I don't need to have an operation on my balls. Naomi, on the other hand, she's fuming. Reason being is because she had pinned all of her hopes on this being the issue, and therefore if we fix the issue, we're out of the woods, and it's happy days. So now we're in a new phase of our relationship where we are officially trying to have a baby. Well, this is when I entered this phase. I didn't know we had apparently been trying before. I just thought we was having sex the same time every 28 days. That's just what was happening. I just didn't know. And here's the thing about trying to have a kid is it's a sport that I've never practiced. I've never trained for it. I've spent my whole 20s trying not to have kids. I did everything I could not to become someone's dad. Yeah, like I'd use condoms. And if we didn't use a condom, go get the morning after pill. If we didn't get the morning after pill, I'd simply change my number. I'd do whatever I could to not be someone's dad. But here I am, I'm trying to get my wife pregnant. Each time I try and she does get pregnant, I'm essentially failing to get my wife pregnant. And each time I do that, it starts chipping away at my masculinity bit by bit, right? And in that moment, it just feels like everyone is getting pregnant. It feels like everyone, and some of the worst people getting pregnant, man. Just the worst, man. remember going to work, one guy comes up and be like, you know that bird I got with last month? Pregnant. Don't know how it happened. So what do you mean you don't know how it happened? I'll give you some clues. He goes, no, we gotta understand this, mate. We only did anal. I was like, why are you telling me this? We're in a meeting, like, have some decorum. He's like, no, Dad, what we gotta understand is, I was receiving. I was like, Jesus Christ, what kind of pornographic miracle baby are you having? And then lockdown happened. This is 2020. Lockdown happened, and you're not escaping it because it's online. Each time I logged in, there's just another pregnancy announcement. And I remember this couple was like, baby number 5, what are we going to do? It's like, use contraception. You're clearly good at making kids. But here's the thing, I can't cuss them too much, right? Because here's the thing, they're announcing baby number 5, but they're not announcing the 2 previous losses. They're not announcing endometriosis or ectopic pregnancies. They're not talking about the diagnosis that the guy had when he was a kid, that he was told he was never going to be able to conceive kids naturally. So yeah, when you've had this bad news, you get a bit of good news, yeah, fucking celebrate it. It's your social media. Post whatever you want, right? And if he's got bad news, you don't have to share that. That's personal. Now, I can say that with hindsight and clarity. At the time, hated all those fuckers. Hated everyone who was having a kid. I did. I was just so bitter about it, man. And what was annoying, it was just like people would try to be philosophical about it because they see me and knowing, oh, you're a young couple. When are you having babies? When are you having babies? When are you having babies? They just pep you with that, right? And it'd be annoying because people try to say helpful things when you say, oh, we're trying, but it's not working out. They're like, oh, you know what you need to do? Just relax. Just relax. Just relax, sweetie, just relax. It's like, yeah, not have sex. Just relax. Just relax. But the worst one that I used to get was, maybe it's not meant to be. That was, I don't know, and it sounds like they think they're being philosophical, but especially if they've got kids, it's like the cruelest thing you can say. Because what they say is, maybe it's not meant to be for you. That's what they're saying, right? But the funniest one I used to get with people who had kids, when you tell them, like, oh, we're trying, but it's not really working, I go, oh, don't worry, mate. You can have my kids if you want. I don't want your shit kids. So, take them back. Shit kids, man. Best bit of advice I got, though, I say best, most interesting, was from my brother. I've got 2 of my brothers in the room today, so I will name which one. It was my brother Paul. His advice was this. He goes, you know what you need, mate? I go, what's that? He goes, mackerel. I'm like, what? My brother Paul is not a doctor. I go, mackerel. Goes, yeah, look, my mate, him and his missus, they were trying for 3 years. No success. Then he just started eating mackerel for 3 months. She got pregnant. In my head, I was like, idiot. But he's my older brother, so I have to respect him. And what actually came out of my mouth was, so what kind of mackerel is it? I was just desperate. I needed to know, right? It's anything to fix the problem, man. I know. But this is what the issue was with me as a man. I was going through an emotion that we don't associate with men or masculinity, right? And so I had no way of processing this emotion, this feeling. And the simple thing was this. I, as a man, was feeling broody. That's it. I was just broody. And it's a weird thing for men. Like, it's weird to hear me even say it, even though I've said it so many times. It's a weird thing. Because socially, we've accepted women being broody. Like, that's totally fine. That's totally normal. Women, you can be broody. And you can be broody in the most batshit mental way. And we're okay with that as society, right? You could see a stranger across the road with their kid, run across the street, run through traffic, be like, oh my God, look at him. He's so cute. Oh my God, I want to eat his feet. I want to eat his cheeks. Oh my God, he's gorgeous. No, seriously, what's his name? Do what? It doesn't even matter. Get your kid away from me. No, I'm literally about to steal your baby. Oh no, seriously, no. My ovaries have activated. Totally normal. You can do that as a woman. Can't do that as a man. Can't see some stranger with their kids run across the road. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She's so cute. Ah, man. I want to eat her feet. I want to eat her cheeks. Nah, seriously, she's gorgeous. Now, what's her name? Doesn't even matter, because seriously, take her away from me, because I'm about to steal your baby. No. My testicles have activated. Police! 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 Can't do it. Can't do it as a man. Can't be broody as a man. End up on the register. So that's what it was. So while I was feeling sorry for myself, in the meantime, Naomi, she had embraced this whole kind of like online community, this IVF community, this infertility community. And when I wasn't feeling sorry for myself, I'd sometimes look over her shoulder and I'd learn some shit. I'd learn some symbols that I hadn't noticed before. For example, the pineapple. The pineapple is the sign for infertility in the IVF community. It's also the sign for... You filthy bastard. Swingers. Yes, swingers. No, it is swingers. But that means you need to make sure you're going to the right pineapple party, right? Like you think you're trying to get some like IVF support. They're like, big man, put the keys in the bowl. Different kind of sperm donation happening tonight. The other symbol I hadn't known before was a rainbow baby. And now a rainbow baby is a baby that's had after a previous loss. I didn't know. I generally thought a rainbow baby was a gay baby. I did. I thought it was a gay baby. It's so stupid in hindsight, right? But I'd see people post going, oh, rainbow baby. I was like, I mean, how do you know so young? Like, I don't get how you know. But that's what it was, man. And here's the thing. I said I was feeling sorry for myself. Naomi was doing the community, like the IVF community, and it was Naomi being the driving force to make sure that we actually met all of our appointments and got all the admin done to make sure that we actually got approved for IVF. So where we lived, fortunately we did get approved. Like I said, none of my work, that's Naomi's work. And we got approved for IVF. And in our area, you get one fresh transfer, and then if that doesn't work, you get a frozen transfer. And again, I was just feeling, I still wasn't like really engaging in the process. I was still feeling sorry for myself. And what I should have been doing is turning all of my love and attention to Naomi, because the disproportionality in the IVF process between men and women is crazy, right? Because here's everything that Naomi is going to go through. She's going to have to go through weeks and months of invasive prodding, scans, injection, prod, scan, injection, prodding, scan, injection. Then she's going to be pumped full of so many hormones that rather than produce one egg in a cycle, she produced 16 eggs, right? 16 eggs in one cycle. Then she's going to go to the clinic. She's going to be sedated, wheeled to theatre, and those 16 eggs are going to be retrieved directly through the vaginal wall. And you've got to remember, people, Naomi, reproductively, is healthy. Muggins here, with the shit sperm. Another jizz in a cup. That's what I had to do. Right? And I remember getting to the clinic and the doctor saying to me, Mr. Griffiths, if you are unable to produce a fresh sample within the next 30 minutes, everything that Naomi's been through may be for nothing. And I was like, oh, this is the most high pressure wank of my life. But fortunately, I've been practicing wanking since I was 13. I was trained for this. I was ready. And even though it was funded by the NHS, it was a private clinic. And I was kind of excited to use a private wanktorium. I mean, everything a private is an upgrade, so I was thinking, oh, what are they going to have here? They're going to have what, like VR headsets? Yeah. Maybe one of the nurses will lend a hand. I don't know what I was expecting. But instead, I go into the room and I'm greeted with this A4 bit of paper that says, due to COVID restrictions, patients have to bring their own materials. I was like, oh man, if only if I had a phone for the pornography. I didn't. I had my laptop though. And, and here's the thing though, I start giving my sample, right? And as I give my sample, it then dawns on me that this sample may produce my children. And that changes the kind of porn you're comfortable watching. Because you can't watch your usual filth. You don't want that energy going into your offspring. I can't watch horses and hobbits. I've got to watch some nice, wholesome, family-friendly porn. Right? Good vibes for the kids. So I give my sample, I guess one upgraded private one, the pot's bigger, so that was nice. And then giving your sample back is way more discreet. So this time what they have to do, it's in the room, there's a little hatch. And as soon as I finish my sample, I open the hatch, put it in, close it. As soon as that door closed, I heard the other side open, heard the pot bang on the metal tray, and I heard this trolley just wheel away. And I was like, wow, that was quick. And then I'm like, hold on. were they there the whole time? I mean, while I was giving my sample, yeah? Wait. I was giving my sample. Someone's ear pressed against the door, just like, shh, shh, shh. He's finished. Just so as hell. Hadn't even put my shoes back on yet, man. It was quick. And then we leave. The next day, we're told of those 16 eggs, 12 are fertilised. So fantastic, going really well. Day 3, of those 12, 8. There's 8 viable embryos at that point. And the reason they check on day 3 is in case you don't have enough viable embryos, they'll do the transfer then. But we had 8, so we're doing really well. So on day 5 was transfer day, and we had 5 viable embryos, which is like brilliant. But here's the thing, it's COVID. And that means that I wasn't allowed to go to the clinic on transfer day, which made me feel pretty redundant. Or, like, I felt redundant for the whole process. I felt worse here, right? But what that actually means is that the moment that my wife got pregnant, I wasn't even in the same building. I wasn't there. And I think I've taken absent fatherhood to a brand new level now, right? Here's the thing about going through the IVF process, right? Is you have to let family members in, but way earlier than you want to. And what happens, because you need to let them in case it doesn't work out, you're going to rely on them for support. But the problem being is you end up getting asked very weird questions that you wouldn't get asked if you just conceived naturally, right? Like, oh, hi, how did it go? Do you think she's pregnant? Do you think it went well? Just like, you wouldn't get that if you conceived naturally. When you just had sex with your partner, your mum calls, you all right? Just have sex, did ya? How did it go? Yeah? Did she like it? Did you leave it in, did ya? Yeah, that helps. Not on a biscuit this time, good boy. I mean, you're different. 2 weeks later, we do the test. It's positive, Naomi's pregnant, and it's fantastic. 2 weeks later, she's pregnant. Thank you. Then we do scan 6 weeks, do scan 9 weeks, all good. 12-week scan, right? Now, because of COVID and stuff, rather than fall on 12 weeks, it fell on 13 weeks and like 5 days on the NHS schedule. I hadn't done my research, right? I generally thought that the 12-week scan was the scan that you just get the little picture, yeah, that you post and I go, we're pregnant, wee. That's all I thought that was. I already had in my head like the cool like Instagram post I was gonna do, right? Naomi, on the other hand, she's obviously done the research for both of us again. And she said, no, it's a proper medical screening. If we don't get it like within the window, we might miss something. So it's like, fine. And she said, do you mind if we go private and get a 12-week scan? So I was like, do you know what? Fine. Let's go get a private scan. So it's horrible. When you first go to scan, the only thing you want to hear, you can't hear anything they're saying until you hear the heartbeat. That's all. They're saying all these things. I don't not hearing anything. Heard the heartbeat. It's like cool, relaxed into it. And Snogford, she's now just listing things she can see. She's listing things she can see. It's like, yeah, there's the head, there's the hands, brilliant. But then she stopped listing things she could see, and just immediately, like a room that's already dark, just suddenly felt darker. And I was like, oh shit! And I just had this horrible sinking feeling in my stomach. And I thought, maybe I've got this wrong. Let me check what Naomi's doing. I remember Naomi laying on the bed, and she wasn't saying anything, but I just saw like a few tears run down her face. It's like, shit, she can feel there's something wrong here as well. And we both said, look, why are you not saying anything? And the sonographer, like the guy who was taking photos of inside my balls, just ran out of the room. It's like, I'm not sure what kind of fucking training these people get here. It's like, if it gets tense, just leave. Just leave the patients there. Let them work it out for themselves. It's fine. It's fine. Just do that. So she recomposed herself to sonographer, and I think she recomposed herself too much because the way she delivered this news was so cold and devoid of like any emotion. She goes, okay, so what I'm seeing on the scan are structural abnormalities, which I think are indicative of a chromosomal disorder, to the point that I'm not sure that this pregnancy is viable. And I was just like, just blown away, just rocked off my feet. And rather than leave there with any hope or direction, we're just handed this leaflet that has an acronym on that I hadn't seen before. It's TFMR, Termination for Medical Reasons. And we're just given this leaflet and just sent on our way. Now, I'll say this now, everything's fine. Everything's worked out fine for us and very lucky, right? But to this day, even though I know everything works out fine, that is still the worst day of my life. That is still the worst day of my life, right? And I'm taken away from that situation. When I leave, I'm taken away from that situation, and I'm just in my head, and I'm thinking about, like the whole abortion debate that was happening at the time, pro-life, pro-choice. I've never really got involved in it. I kind of just thought, that's women's issues, but if I had to be anything, I'd be pro-choice. But I'd never envisioned I'd be having to make a choice about a pregnancy that I wanted with someone that I loved who also wanted the same thing. And then I started thinking about the abortion laws in the UK. You can terminate up to 24 weeks. Having been through this and having my kids now, I don't think it should be 24 weeks. I think it should be 18 years. Because kids are annoying. Kids are annoying, okay? I mean, my kids now, they're toddlers, I love them, they're beautiful, but they're showing signs of what they're going to be like as when they're older, and I think you should be allowed to terminate a teenager. I just think you should. So we leave there, like I said, we're in a really bad place, but you can say shit about the NHS as much as you want, but at this moment they were clutched. They came in and said, look, that leaflet you got, you should never have seen that at this stage. What you need is further testing. This testing is called CVS, chronic villus sampling. And what they're going to do is they're going to test for the trisomies, which is Downs, Edwards, and Patels. And because what they saw on the scans, they test for a fourth one called Turner's, right? And how they're going to test it, because the fetus is so small, they can't even take blood directly from the fetus. They have to take it from the placenta. And even then, there's a 1 in 200 chance that they may destroy the fetus by doing this sampling, right? So everything is just high stakes. Everything's just high stakes at this point, right? And when you hear a stat like 1 in 200 chance, the last thing you want to see is a consultant walk into a room with the biggest needle you've ever seen, with what I can only describe as early to mid-stage Parkinson's. This man's shake. Nah, seriously, me and Naomi looked at each other straight away, it's like, is this the guy? Is this the guy? Like 1 in 200, this is like a 50-50 chance that he's gonna stab me with the needle. Like, it was mad. Well, we do the testing, it was fine. 2 to 3 days later, we got rapid results. And I remember the midwife calling, and she's like, hi guys, how's it all going? It's like, well, all things considered, okay, but not amazing. She's like, okay. Would you like to know the results? Like, yes, why do you think you're calling? Like, what's the small talk? And she goes, okay. Downs, negative. Edwards, negative. Patels, negative. Turner's, negative. So I knew what that meant, but I needed her to say that back to me. So I was like, what does it mean? Because on a chromosomal level, this is a healthy pregnancy. So I was like, oh, brilliant. And then she goes, would you like to know the sex? Now, the reason she asked that is because Turner's syndrome is on the sex chromosome, right? And so she knew the sex. And I have to admit, guys, that I was nervous. I was still threatened. Look, we weren't out the woods yet. We still may need to make a really tough decision. And stupidly, I was trying to emotionally detach. I was trying to keep everything just kind of over there, because in case we had to make that tough decision. Naomi, on the other hand, does not like surprises. And she immediately went, yes, I want to know the sex. And I remember what the midwife said on the phone. And these words are burnt into my head, because what she said, she didn't say it professionally, medically, nor clinically, right? But it was flipping effective. She said, it's a little girl. She didn't say that it was female. She didn't say it had XX chromosomes. She humanized the whole situation. And everything I was trying to keep over there, as soon as I heard those words, bang, heart exploded, right? I remember her putting the phone down and the words just ringing around in the room. It's just me and Naomi in the room. And Naomi looked at me and she goes, Darran, did you hear that? It's a little girl. That's our daughter. And if we don't fight for her, no one else will. And I was left there just like, I wanted a boy. That boy, I was so upset. Oh, I cried for weeks. It was so tough. That was the toughest moment. But I was having a little girl, I was having a daughter, as our daughter was coming into the world. And here's the thing, because of like what they saw in the scans, we got scans every 2 weeks. And guys, it's like a miracle. Each scan we went to, millimetre by millimetre, all these structural abnormalities started just disappearing, right? And I'm not going to go into the structural abnormalities because my she's here, she's a real person, and I'm going to respect her. I'll tell you one. One of them. I'll tell you one that they saw, right? Is the lack of presentation of a nasal bone on the 12-week scan. Now, across all medical texts, that is a structural abnormality and an indication of a chromosomal disorder, right? But in the footnote of the same medical text, it says, may also be a sign that the baby is black. Put that in the body of the text! Especially when you're talking to two black people, that is key information, okay? Being black is a lifetime condition, but it's not a medical one. The baby wasn't gonna be born and like, babe, don't look, what? She's black. It's just like, that's never gonna happen. And spoiler alert, she has a nose, okay, as well. So we carry on getting scans, and like I said, it's clearing up for us. And we get to 20 weeks and then realise, look, Naomi goes, I think I'm gonna have to announce that I'm pregnant. I'm like, I still don't want to announce. I'm still nervous. I'm still like, I'm a bit of a coward about it all. So I don't want to announce in case something goes wrong. And Naomi goes, look, this is where she's so like headstrong with this kind of thing. She goes, Darran, I'm 20 weeks pregnant. If anything goes wrong now, I'm not gonna hide it. Like this is gonna be something that's happened to me. I want to tell people. I was like, fine, let's tell people. Another reason was the middle of lockdown. And a lot of people let themselves go. Naomi needs to let people know, that this is a baby. This is. I haven't let myself go. This is a baby. And we announced, but we didn't just post online and post a picture, go, we're pregnant. What we remembered how horrible it was to be trying to have a child and just seeing these pregnancy announcements. So we were just really open about it. We just told people everything that we'd been through, and it was received really well. And even though it was received well, you still felt guilt. Right? Because, like I said, you've got that community, not just the community, you've got people close to you who are still going through that struggle. But at that point, it was like, look, we've got to start enjoying the pregnancy, otherwise this pregnancy is just going to be just trauma-filled and just going to be sad. So it's like, right, we enjoy it. And we started enjoying it. And we started having a little bit of, like, paternity banter. Naomi goes, hey, Darran, considering it's IVF, wouldn't it be funny if they accidentally use someone else's sperm? I was like, well, considering it's IVF, wouldn't it be funny if they accidentally used someone else's egg? Yeah, she didn't find it funny either. She's like, no, that's totally different. That's medical negligence. We'll sue the hospital, right? But I remember the day that she went into labour. I remember the day she went into labour, and we went to, and we was watching TV. And we was watching something on TV that I think every first-time mum would want to watch. We were watching Handmaid's Tale. Yeah. What did Handmaid's Tale? She's like, do you mind if you turn this off? I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. And we started watching Love Island instead. Something much more easier to watch. And the contractions started coming, so we rushed to the hospital. And I remember getting to the maternity ward. I was like, no, you can't come in. She can come in, but you can't. I was like, what kind of shit nightclub is this? It's because of my shoes I can't come in? They're like, no, because of COVID, we need to check her over first to see if she's far enough along. So I was like, okay, fine. So now I'm having to wait outside in this weird kind of like man crash with all these expected dads, right? And the banter's flying. They're like, oh, so what are you here for then? I was like, oh, fuck off. So I just sat in the car. I was like, no, not involved in this. Then I get the call from Naomi. He's going, I'm 4 centimetres dilated. I'm like, oh, wicked. So I go run into the maternity ward. She's 4 centimetres dilated. 4 hours later, she's checked again. She's 7 centimetres dilated. They're trying to get to 10 centimetres, right? Then another 4 hours later, there's a shift rotation, new team. They check her. Again, it's not very dignified. They're kind of just like, all right, love. They're like, 7 centimetres dilated. Oh no, darling. You're only 4 centimetres. I was just like, oh my God, what's happening now? We've now got like complications in the birth. And then I'm taken back to another deep conversation me and Naomi had before the labour started. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that. In the UK, black women are 4 times more likely than their white counterparts to suffer maternal death. So we had a frank conversation about what I'd have to do if there were ever complications and if I ever had to choose between mother and child. In no uncertain terms, Naomi said to me, pick me. Pick me. And I was like, guys, you've heard this story. You've heard how hard this child was to come by. I'd already made my decision. And not to be arrogant, but I backed myself to get another wife. So... No, fortunately I didn't have to make that decision. But it was a tough labour. It was a tough labour. And I remember this doctor coming in, right, this pubeless man. This man that has never seen a vagina outside a medical context, right? Just takes one look at Naomi and goes, oh, it's not going too well for you, is it? Failure to progress. I was like, fucking hell, mate, is that the term? He's like, yeah. I was like, that's a proper kick in the vulva, that is. Like, what woman needs to hear that? But that is the term. And to be fair, the labour was long. Naomi was in labour for a total of 26 hours. I know, a long time. I'd finished Handmaid's Tale. And, and we were taken to theatre to go, look, emergency C-section, we'll go to theatre. Now, my preconceived notion of what theatre would be like, completely shattered. I thought it'd be nice, calm, tranquil, ready to bring in new life. No, it's banging, clanging, machinery's going off everywhere, and it's just carnage, it's chaos. But amidst all of that chaos, I just managed to focus in on Naomi. And this is like, in this process, for whatever reason, this is the first time I've actually just seen Naomi, and I'm looking at her. And I'm just taken back to when we first met online, on Tinder, and just hitting it off straight away and just moving really quickly in our relationship, you know, just like not wanting the same things, wanting family, moving in with each other, getting engaged, then her finding out about my infertility, and rather than just run off, she supported me. Correction, more than supported me, she led the way. She led the way. I was dragging my heels. She dragged us through this process. She made sure we got to every appointment we needed to do. She flipping harangued the hospitals to make sure that, you know, we got the appointments we needed, right? Then we get approved for IVF. She goes through IVF. Then she goes through these traumatic scans. Then she goes through 26 hours of labour, right? And then she had this birth plan, and women do these elaborate birth plans, and I don't think one part of that birth plan was even met, right? I mean, I say that, I don't know, I didn't read it. And as she goes through all of this, right, and now she's about to go through major surgery, also that I can achieve my dream of being a dad. And I'd look at her, I was like, Jesus, I fucking love this woman, right? And at that point, I was like, I don't think, like, I loved her so much in that moment. I thought, did I really love her that much earlier on in the relationship? That's how big the feeling was in that moment. And in that moment, I was thinking, there's nothing or no one I could love more than Naomi. And then I heard the cries of my daughter for the first time. I was like, Naomi fucking who though? Just like... Seriously, Ludacris started playing, move, bitch, get out the way. I just kicked her off the bed. Like, give him a baby. They dropped a curtain, she was pissing on the table. I was like, hey, lads. They're like, do you want to cut the umbilical cord? It's like, why? There's so many qualified medical professionals in this room. Why do you want me to cut it? But then they gave me my baby, and they said, right, guys, you need to leave. I was like, what? Because I have to finish the surgery, like just cesarean. It sounds easy. Oh, just cut her open, take the baby out. It's major surgery. You have to reattach 7 layers of the human body, and they have to do it properly so there's no infection and stuff. So that's the main part of the surgery. So we now have to leave. We're now escorted to another part of the hospital, and it's just me and the baby, and the midwife goes, I'm going to leave you now. I was like, oh, wait, where are you going? You can't leave me. Like, I've just met her. I don't know this kid. So, I ain't trained for this. They go, and she goes, don't worry, the baby doctor will be with you soon. And I was like, baby doctor? I was hoping for someone a bit older. I was like, oh, what? Dad joke out of nowhere. I'd only been dad for 5 minutes. Just vomited out my mouth. I was disgusted with myself. But it just came out. But I was there with my daughter, just me and her, and it was magical. And all I wanted to do was take her home and take Naomi home. That's all I wanted to do, to get them home safe. But I couldn't. They had to stay for 3 days, more scans. More scans and more tests. 3 days later, I go in, and the midwife's there again going, you know, the baby doctor's doing his rounds, then he'll discharge Naomi and baby. I go, wait, can I just pull you up on that baby doctor thing? You keep saying baby doctor. Do you mean paediatrician? She was like, oh. Someone a doctor? I was like, what kind of hospital are we in right now? I mean, it's just like, that's not how you denote yourself as a doctor. Imagine if like, you had like, a prostate exam and your proctologist is there, like, you're right, mate, I'm the bum doctor. It's like, no, you're not, get out, man. Unfortunately, we was allowed to take, we were discharged, and I managed to take them both home, and it was amazing. I was living my dream. I had my daughter, had my wife, and it was perfect. Everything was perfect. I embraced every part of fatherhood, right? Like, we even did like matching pajamas at Christmas, right? And I remember, that picture's still on my Instagram, and I remember a few days later, Naomi goes, Darran, you just did the matching pajamas things, no questions asked. I was like, yeah, I did. Like, why would I? Like, I feel lucky, blessed, and privileged to have you and our daughter. Like, why'd I make a fuss? She goes, wow, you're a proper dickhead, innit? I was like, oh, Jesus, just so hood. So hood. But our life was perfect. But here's the messed up thing, the human condition. Even though everything we'd been through, the struggle, and our life was perfect, we still wanted a little bit more. We felt like our family wasn't complete. And we thought, do you know what? We want a second child. Now, we knew how hard it was for the first time, so it's like, right, it's going to be IVF again. But the NHS ain't funding it this time. We have to pay. Now, for us, fortunately, we had frozen embryos. So what I like to call them are our Blue Peter babies, the ones we made earlier. And we had them in the freezer at the clinic, not our freezer. That'd be a terrible place to keep embryos. And we had that, and it's going to cost us roughly £6,000. Roughly £6,000 to do it, yeah. So it's like, okay, cool. That's what we're going to have to do. And there's no guarantee of success either. We had a tough year that year as well. We'd lost my auntie. We'd lost Naomi's mum. So it was like, do you know what? We already had like a holiday booked. So it's like, do you know what? Let's just go on holiday. Let's just get our senses together. Let's just like recalibrate. Let's recharge. Let's relax. And let's go for it. Because it may not work. We need to like get that energy up to go for this, right? And went to Crete. And I remember coming back, and we had booked our appointment in. And I remember the appointment date had fallen on the same day that I was invited to corporate hospitality to the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Now, I really want a second child, but I really like F1. So I had a decision to make. But, you know, Naomi, so I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Rose. Okay. And, but here's the thing, Naomi wasn't feeling too well in the lead up to the appointment. I was thinking, oh, maybe, you know, we cancel, delay the appointment, I can still go Silverstone, win-win. And I remember the morning of the appointment, Naomi came out of the bathroom and she threw a pregnancy test at me. And that pregnancy test was positive. And I was, yeah. And I was like, and Naomi said, Darran, I'm pregnant. I'm like, Naomi, who's the dad? No, because I was thinking, like, what kind of half-Greek baby does she want me raising here? If we just come back from a holiday, now you're pregnant, what the fuck? And he's like, no, Darran, take it seriously. I'm pregnant. I'm like, Naomi, we just saved £6,000. She's like, Darran, I don't think you're focused on the right things here. She's like, Darran, I am pregnant. I'm like, Naomi, no. We're pregnant. And I'm going to Silverstone. I didn't even cancel my ticket. I was going. And listen, I went Silverstone, people. I went Silverstone, and Naomi said, look, she was so happy for us. She goes, Darran, go and get pissed for both of us. In hindsight, I realised she didn't actually say get pissed for both of us. She said, have a good time. I heard it as get pissed. And boy, I got pissed. That's the most drunk I've ever been. There's some people in this room that are in Silverstone with me. They're like, oh, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I was absolutely hammered. And I remember getting home. I couldn't even string a sentence together. Right, like I'm stumbling to the bedroom. And Naomi goes, Darran, did you have a good time? I remember just going to the bedroom, undoing my trousers, and just going, they're Kenyan. I did this show in Edinburgh, and people kept on coming up to me and go, Darran, you're really brave to do this show. And look, I'm not brave. I wouldn't be able to have done this show unless I had my happy ending. I'll have to be honest with you. If I didn't have my daughter through IVF, I didn't have my son, naturally, I don't think I would have had the confidence to share this story. I was just kept, so I can't say I'm brave. And, you know, I just want everyone in this room, if you are going through this or about to go through this, I hope this story provides you some hope. If you have been through it, I hope this story provides you a little bit of catharsis. And if you haven't been through it, then I hope the show is insightful and, you know, and you learned something. But most of all, I just want everyone to be just a bit more mindful, especially of couples that don't have children. Don't just pep them with the same questions. But when you're having babies, when you're having babies, when you're having babies, when you're having babies. Because you literally do not know how much mackerel they've been eating. All right, so guys, look, you lot have been fantastic. It's time for me to leave and relax. So you lot have been fantastic. Cheers and good night.